Hello everyone, this is Quita with the Quitassential Life, and today we are making corned beef and cabbage, and was planning on doing it just in my crock pot. Looked at a lot of recipes, wanted to try some different things, spice it up, make it my own. However, it shrank to half its size, which was not going to work for portions or to even have sandwiches afterwards, which was the deal, or at least the plan. So I happen to have a second piece of corned beef in the freezer, and it had already shrunk half the size. So I busted out my Ninja Foodie, put more carrots, onion, celery at the bottom, put the frozen piece of this one was a round tip corned beef, and pretty much duplicated the seasonings, but I did switch up some of the seasonings a little bit. So this has turned into a Crockpot versus Ninja Foodie from Frozen video. So if you want to hang out and see what we did, my son's helping me out, being my taster. So hang on to the end so you can see how it turned out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. I'm so appreciative of all the love you give. I know I've been MIA for a while, had surgery, and I'm still trying to recover from. So, coming back with a food video, and I've got some other beauty videos lined up that I need to edit along with this one. So, hang in there, keep watching so you can see how this turned out. Hello, this is Quita, and I am showing you what we have here. We've got our Angus beef brisket, my crock pot, the veggies, the potatoes, the carrots, celery. I like to chop up the frilly leaves at the top for that extra flavor. Onions, celery. I have some other seasonings set aside. I put a little splash of turmeric in almost everything because it has anti-inflammatory properties. And then we have our truffle, black garlic truffle seasoning, bay leaves, and white pepper, and the adobo that's sort of for everything. I've got my deli style mustard and some honey Dijon mustard, Cajun style seasoning along with Brazilian steakhouse seasoning, holy smoke seasoning, and garlic and herb seasoning, and of course regular black pepper, some fresh garlic, and apple cider. I really was going to use regular apple cider, but I couldn't find it in the store, so this works. Now the first thing we're going to be doing is taking the piece of corned beef brisket and just searing it in my cast iron pan. Now I'm just adding a little bit of seasoning as it's searing, some crushed red pepper flakes and some perfect pinch of steak seasoning. And this is the prime rib rub, and I do that on both sides. Now we're ready to prep our crock pot with the carrots and the potatoes, sort of like a bed for them to rest on, for the brisket to rest on, and showing you my seared brisket. If you notice, it pretty much is covering the top, almost 2/3 filling up the pan. I'm getting my onions in there to keep things moist, and I'm adding more seasoning, some adobo, really around the veggies because I use that more on my veggies. I put it garlic and herb Cajun and holy smokes on there, and the truffle and black garlic seasoning, a little bit of ground turmeric for my inflammatory processes, and just adding the extra little pieces of celery that came around, plus those were bay leaves I stuck around the edges. Gotta have a little bit of liquid smoke. This is my mustard concoction with the 2 mustards, the deli mustard with the seeds, as well as the honey, golden honey mustard. A lot of people put it on the front and the back, but it's all gonna mix up together, so. Now I'm adding the seasoning that comes with the corned beef. I'm a garlic fan, so I just put quite a bit of fresh ground garlic in there, as you can see. A lot of recipes called for apple cider. Couldn't find any, so I used a hard apple cider in this. I'm adding a little bit of brown sugar for a little sweetness to go with that, you know, balance out that seriously savory mix that we have in here for cooking our corned beef brisket. And you know, you really need to cover the top of the meat, but I just added enough water to the top as much as I could. Then I am putting my trusty Crockpot top on, and setting it for 4.5 hours on high, and then it'll go to warm while I'm doing some other things. It does need to cook more, but that's when I want to check it. Okay, so now we are checking, and you see we have lots of juice. So after 4.5 to 5 hours on high in the crock pot, we have shrunk already, and we're not done. As you see, I'm mixing all the goodness of the veggies on here, but you definitely want to taste to see what else you need in your pot. So as I said, the one corned beef that I had planned to serve shrunk. So I went to the freezer and got the round tip corned beef I had in there, busted out my Ninja Foodie, put what I could with the veggies and the onions and all that stuff in there, but I lost the footage because the camera went out. So what you're seeing here is me setting the Ninja Foodie to cook the additional brisket, making sure it's on seal and not bent, and then we'll come back and check after it's gotten to pressure. That's what that little circle thing is. So now, after our time has passed, we are taking a look at what we got. You see, I don't have as many potatoes. I still got potatoes, carrots, and onions, but I didn't have quite as many left because I didn't know I was going to be cooking this. But I'm checking with the fork to see how tender, and it should just fall right back off the fork. So it needs a little bit more time, and I want those juices to concentrate and become wonderfully delicious. So I am now going to put it on roast for what did I put on? 35, 40 minutes, 35 minutes to roast to help concentrate that wonderful sauce that's got the brisket going. So now we're back to the crock pot, checking that. You see it's even smaller. I wanted to show that to you. It has all the wonderful extra veggies there. So I want to check its tenderness. But you see why, from the size of it, I needed to cook another one from frozen. So that's where the Ninja Foodie came in. You see the forks going in and coming out. No problem. There's a little bit for me to test right now just to see if there's anything else I want to put in here. And it's doing pretty good, but I want that juice to concentrate and reduce down. So I am loosely putting the top on and letting it continue to cook while I start to work on the cabbage. So for the cabbage, I got my Wolfgang Puck pot here, stainless steel pot, melting some butter and olive oil in it. Olive oil helps the butter not burn. So I'm getting ready for my cabbage. What you see here are the outer leaves of the cabbage that I'm rolling up. My son's not here helping, so I'm doing the one-handed thing here with the camera. I rolled up those more green leaves from the outside, chopped them, and then I'm putting them in because they're a little thicker and they take longer to cook than the rest of the lighter cabbage. So, but it does actually put a little pop in your cabbage as far as color is concerned, but you need to cook them a little longer. So that's what you see here is me just working them in, sauteing them into the butter and olive oil. I'm going to let the top be put on to help steam them down. And then I need to work on cutting up the rest of the head of the cabbage. So just like abracadabra, there it's done. Snap my fingers and it's all cut up. I am adding some Brazilian house seasoning, garlic, you see that right on the top, and what else did I add? Oh, adobo to just start flavoring my cabbage. So I'm stirring that up in there. That's the adobo going in, and giving that butter, olive oil, seasoning a chance to incorporate. Adding some onions. You must have onions. Okay, it's a mandatory thing. And mixing that on in. Then I need to start adding my cabbage in a little at a time, seasoning it in layers, because if you just dump it all in, it'll be a while before you can make sure the seasoning is distributed. So I'm starting to add my cabbage, and after I cover the pan, then I put a little bit of seasoning on, sort of like in layers. So you see I got a layer of the lighter cabbage on. I'm just going to sprinkle some adobo on there and some ground black pepper. Just so we are layering our seasonings. And then continue to add the cabbage in. Doing the same thing. To get as much in as I can, it's going to wilt down, so that's the process. That's what you see me doing. And again, the one-handed filming, cooking woman. So forgive the movement because I'm holding the camera and cooking at with the other hand. So you see the top is a little raised, but it will wilt down. I just checked it every 5 minutes or so, and I would put more cabbage in, made sure I stirred it, put the fresh cabbage more at the bottom and the other cabbage at the top. But this is our final product. I did cut up hot link because I just can't imagine cabbage without no meat in it. I just cut up a hot link, so if you see some little round pieces of meat in there, that's what that is, to give it a little bit of extra flavor. So that whole can of cabbage is in this pan. This is a pretty big pan, but we're good to go with a thumbs up. Okay, we are checking our brown tip corned beef. If you notice, you can see the area where the sauce was higher and it has now reduced. So that means the flavor is concentrated, and that's going to be some good something. Now I'm going over and checking the crock pot. And if you notice, the water was all the way to the top, so it has reduced as well, which means it's concentrating those flavors. So we are about to take these two out and let them rest so I can start cutting them. This one is the brisket that was done in the crock pot. The corned beef brisket done in the crock pot. Y'all, I struggled. Okay, can I tell you that I'm on the struggle bus trying to cut this? I'm cutting it against the grain, and it wasn't tough, but I guess it was stringy. I don't know. I didn't understand it because it cost more than the round tip. So I wanted to show you what was happening, almost like I could shred it. But I tried different knives, trying to get a decent cut, and it basically gave me small chunks or shredded. So I pulled the main parts apart and tried to cut through it. I shouldn't be having that kind of problem, but I did. So this is the beef round tip from the Ninja Foodie, and you see how it's cutting. It's actually cutting like it's supposed to. It's not perfect, but I didn't really have any issues with this. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it was cooked from frozen and pressure cooked, but I cooked the one in the crock pot for a long time, so I don't know. But you see, this is a much better outcome as far as cutting is concerned, because I've tried about 6 knives, as you can see over there. So here are the two. The one on the left is the Ninja Foodie. The one on the right is the Crockpot. So we will be tasting shortly. That's good.
Which one is better though?
I don't know. That's the crock pot. Now we're gonna switch bases in a minute.
Right.
So we're gonna get to this cabbage now. Take a look at that on the floor, and we will taste it. It's good. It's tasty, flavorful. Now it's my son's turn.
See that?
Yep. Okay,
good.
which one was that?
I'm assuming they're aligned, are they?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a foodie one. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee. You messed up.
They taste different though. And it's not just because of the meat.
That's good. I think I like the foodie one better though.
Me too.
But they're both really good though.
Okay, cabbage. Go on and hit that little.
I know.
I left it for you.
Appreciate it.
Wait, give me back. Okay, now. To me, it's a nice contrast.
Yeah.
So it's good. All righty.
Yep.